What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of our ongoing how-to series for Patreon or paid-only subscribers or followers, all right? So this is exclusive content for you guys, not on YouTube or anywhere else. That's why it's called exclusive. All right, so I'm putting, it's just been working out lately that it's easier for us to have me do this, while Darcy does other things like making jewelry, cleaning up, tending the bunnies, gardening, and all those other kind of hobbies. And I do most of the stuff on the trolling and the rigging, so that's why I've been talking about that lately. And today is no different, all right? Today I'm going to tell you all about how to set up your planer rod with a planer bridle and a nice long leader, okay? Your planer rod, if you're trolling anywhere offshore, as far as I'm concerned, the whole East Coast, as far as I know, your planer rod is your most productive rod. It's called the meat rod, the meat stick. You don't go anywhere without it. You don't troll without your planer rod, and this has been proven time and time again through hundreds, maybe not hundreds of years, but decades and decades of charter boats and everybody else using them, and I can attest to it. And you see it on a boat that we catch most of our fish trolling on the planer rod, from wahoo to mahi to tuna to bonita to everything. All right, so let's get started. And why am I using this funny planer bridle, all right? And some of you may already be familiar with planers. If you're not interested in planers, or you like some other kind of stuff, you don't really think it's gonna be that interesting, we're gonna talk about a variety of stuff also. There's gonna be some other fishing stuff thrown in. And you don't do a lot of trolling out in the ocean, maybe just throw this on in the background while you're tying flies or vacuuming, all right? So, what's a planer? This is a planer, all right? It looks like this. Typically, and I'll go real quick to 3 types of planers. This can be a little in depth. I'm not editing for length or anything, okay? So the planer, you have this rod. You have a planer rod or a regular rod, and the rod's in the boat. I'm gonna show you the rod in a minute, but the rod has a main line. It goes down to your planer, hooks onto this ring right here, all right? Of course, now when you throw this thing out in the ocean, it's gonna be dragging like this, all right, obviously. And your leader to your lure goes on this end. Lure, main line, all right? So I'm gonna set this, give this some slack, and this goes like this. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna insert a clip of me going over all this, okay, on the boat. So we'll have that at the end. But anyway, so line is here. I give this slack, and this weight drops, and here I am. Now look at this. I'm planing. Water is hitting this. This is going deep, 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 all right? So now I got baits underwater, 30, 40, 50, God, Lord only knows how many feet. What angle? I usually like to keep this on a 45-degree angle, the line coming down like this, all right? My leader's out here. All right, so now a fish bites this, boom. Oh, this trips, right? Because there's so much pressure. Whoop. And now, this either comes to the surface, or at least you can reel it in, all right? So you reel it in. So that's how planers work. 3 options on planers. You can tie this on a cable or a really heavy mono on a cleat. And so it's a stationary planer, and you drop lines down on this stationary line to this to go off with another. So that's on another line, all right? So this, you tie this to the cleat, this on the cleat, staying like this, and then you drop lines down with a regular rod, like a breakaway system, almost like an outrigger underwater, and this, and you can fish like that, okay? You drop them down on shower curtain rings. And a lot of folks used to do that. I don't like it. This thing stays in the water, and it's a big pain in the butt. I don't like that, okay? The other way is not to use the planer bridle. And so when it trips like this, you reel it up. And now, this doesn't go through my guides, obviously, so I got to hand line this rest of this line. That's going to cause me to have a heavier leader and a shorter leader, because I can't hand line 75 feet, a 40-pound or 60-pound mono, all right? So, and also when you're on a boat with only 2 people, or a small boat, or not a huge crew, it's generally easier to wind on because you have control of the fish with your rod as opposed to with your arms, okay? So anytime you do a wind on situation, it's always better. You can have better control of the fish, and then someone can just gaff it, all right? So, planer. We're gonna create a bridle, and we're just gonna clip this on. When this gets up to the tip of the rod, we're gonna unclip it, and then you can reel it right on, so it's gonna be no problem. So let's go through it. First is the rod, and I went over this rod. Here comes our sizzle walking through. You can join in, Sizzle. They love to see you. They hate to see. They probably don't even like to see me. They probably already turned off. Surprised there's anybody watching. Come say hi, Sizzle.
What's up? Whoa.
Gotta get low.
You just hit the rod tip. What's up, guys? I am planning to do one of these how-to series very soon. But this is kind of Brian's job right here, getting the rig set up and all that. So he's doing it, but I promise one of the next two, right? I'm going to be doing it.
Yes, please, soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a lot to do. Anyways.
I got to talk about.
Pay attention because he's a very good teacher, and you're learning a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, I was one of the first. Ooh, look at that. I got to get out of here. See you guys later. Anyway, I was one of the first folks doing the planer bridle in Southeast Florida. But anyway, here's the ride we talked about. And the reason we're doing this today, because I just lost everything I'm talking about today. We just lost the other day. I got bit off or something, or line broke, or I don't know, but I lost all this equipment I'm about to talk about. Anyway, we use this reel. This is the TLD 25, TLD 20. I'm sorry, TLD 2-speed 50 LRSA. The 50 means it has 50 LRSA. The LR is SA is like long range, special. I don't know. Whatever it is, it means it has high drag of an 80 in a 50 package, and it's nice and small and light, so we love it. And this is a bent butt rod. You can get bent butt rods anywhere. A cheaper source is Pinnacle rods, and this is a Pinnacle rod. And we have regular guides on here, you can see, highest quality possible. And on the tip, we have what's called the swivel roller tip. See, this goes like, rod's upside down, but if the rod was like this, you're trolling, and it swivels back and forth. All right, that's essential for like high-speed trolling. All right, so the line is like this, boo, boo, boo. All right, anyway, so I got that. So on the reel, I have spooled with 60-pound most of the way, and 300 yards of 80-pound braid on top. All right, for trolling, you want to use a top shot or of all braid or whatever you want to do for braid, because it's thin and it's going to cut through the water. Your lines that you intend to go deep are going to go deeper. Or you can also use wire, which is awesome, but really not a lot of people are using that anymore. That's kind of, people use that before braid. But if you want to use wire, that's old school. You catch a ton of fish. A little bit of pain to deal with. If it gets crimped or kinked or something, you're in big trouble. And but like everyone's using braid now. So anyway, so I got this braid. On the end, I just made a loop. All right, you can see a big loop. I can put my big fat head through it. It's so big. Anyway, there's a loop. And you can make that loop with a bimini. Bimini if you want to be super fancy, or you can just do like a surgeon's loop or whatever. Basically like an overhand knot, like 3 times, and then you just go through this 3 times, and you do that. Now I'm going to mention some knots today, but I'm not going to show you the knots, okay? I apologize. Well, I don't apologize. I'm not showing you the knots, because we're not going to sit here all day showing you how to do a knot, and we don't do a lot of knot videos, and this is because there's a million of them on the web, okay? You just Google a knot, and the 2 best sources, as far as I'm concerned, are netknots.com and animatedknots.com, all right? They have every single knot. You don't need me to show you how to do it too. They've done it in crazy detail, all right? So just a surgeon's loop, big, and then we got a big, long loop. All right, this is gonna be a wind on. And then next is gonna be my bridle. What I like to do, my preference is I'm gonna use these wind on. If you can see that, I'll get us some B-roll of these. This is what's called a wind on barrel swivel, wind on swivel, okay? Well, it's not really a barrel, it's a wind on swivel. A barrel swivel, you know, is wider and loopier, and I probably don't even have any here. Well, here's one. This is a regular barrel swivel. You know what they look like. Anyway, if you had one big enough to be as strong as this thing is, it would be huge, and it wouldn't go through your guides. All right, so this goes through your guides, and some people are going to say, "Oh, you shouldn't be bringing those through your guides." They go through your guides fine. They're meant to go through your guides. Have high quality guides. All right. You can also have a loop-to-loop connection here, which is fabulous. That's more of a pain in the butt for me because I'm terrible at cat's paws. And again, you can Google what the cat's paw is. That's just the way you put 2 loops together. And it's also harder to get apart. At least for me, I have like a mental problem with cat's paws. And but anyway, you can just do this, okay? And you can do a little cat's paw on this as well. So okay, so got it on here. There's also a huge thread on thewholetruth.com. If you guys are offshore fishing, you got to be on thewholetruth.com. And if you need any information, you can search it on there, and there'll be experts, okay? Anyway, so I'm just going to put this on here. Boo, boo, boo. And you just, I'm just going to loop it on there like a loop. And you can do, maybe you can do two loops if you want. You don't really have to. I don't know, use an 80-pound here. Just make it cinches up good. Just make sure. All right. And just make sure your loop comes out even, which is this one is not. So you want to have each side of the loop equal on there. Just make it loose until you get it tied nice. All right. All right, so now I got my swivel on. Now, let's talk about the bridle. The bridle goes next. You can buy bridles all over the place. They're gonna cost you like $30. And you can get fancy ones with splices and hollow core, and they're so fancy, right? You don't need it. I just use downrigger braid that is meant to replace that steel on your downrigger. People be using braid nowadays. I love tough. We use tough line braid. Okay, you can call it downrigger replacement line or 200-pound braid, whatever you want to call it. All right, and it's just super thick, and that's gonna be fine. I've already made it, but basically you're just gonna tie a loop on one end, and again, that can be one of those surgeon's knots or whatever, or even a simple overhand, knot 3 times or whatever is good. And then you can do some dropper loops. These look like that. Okay, again, Google dropper loops. A lot of you guys are already tying those on your little catfish rigs or whatever, and on your chicken rigs. All right, so that's just a dropper loop, 2 dropper loops, and then another loop. You can also just do an overhand loop, an overhand knot for those. Like a double or triple overhand. I like the dropper loops. They look a little cuter. So now, the key here is how far apart these loops are, right? They're this far apart. And why are they that far apart? Where's my planer? All right, let's show you. Now, when it's assembled, I need my planer, I need it to be loose in here. So this is how far apart they have to be. The loops, when this attaches on, they have to be like this. They're this far apart. And you need to have slack in here so it doesn't pull tight. If this pulls tight, obviously you can't set it, right? You can't set. If this is too tight, you can't set it. But if it's loose, then you can set it. All right. So that's how that works. And so basically, just gonna hook this on here, and it's not an exact science how far apart the loops have to be. They just have to have that requirement. Now I put the other one on. It's a lot harder to do when you're not on the water, actually, because this is not all stretched out quite yet. And these are long line clips. There you go. All right, so look, I'm gonna hold it straight up just so it's easier for me. All right, so now I got the system in place. So in the water, I'm fishing. I want to let this out. Right, and so it's in the water like this. See this? See how that's slacking down there? That's slack, all right? So now when I set it, it's gonna go like this. And I'm just gonna go down, and I'm gonna undo it, and then the fish is gonna bite, and it's gonna go like that, all right? So it's not interfering, it's not too tight, it's nice and free, no problem. Now when I take this off, as you're gonna see in the video, now obviously that thing's not there, it's gonna be nice and tight, and you're gonna reel in your fish, all right? The planer, normal planer, looks like this, nothing on here, just this here, all right? Now, we had to modify it. I like to remain using this this, was it OEM? The one that comes with it, this loop, this ring, so that it doesn't mess up this action like this, okay? Then I just put a split ring on here. It's like a 10 or 11 split ring, the bigger the better. So this is not easy to put on there. You're gonna use split ring pliers and jam it on there. And then I got a long line clip, all right? So, and you can use other clips. I find the long line clips are just the easiest to use and the fastest, okay? You can use all kinds of different things you want, whatever's easiest for you. And on the other end, I just put this, the split ring, and this is on there, all right? So that's super easy. All right, now back to my rod. Remember, I got my line to my wind-on swivel. Now I'm just gonna put this on. I got a loop on the end, like I said. Here we go. Put it through. Just gonna loop it through. It's not hard. None of this is hard. Just you haven't done it before. It's no big deal. It's simple. it's not brain surgery. Fishermen, the things that happen in fishing it's nothing brain surgery. Just trial and error. All right, so just gonna pull that tight. Make sure my loop is even, of course. There we go. You see, that's nice. Now I got my bridle, like we just talked about. What are you doing, Sizzle? Sizzle's keeping quiet. What happened to my other wind-on swivel? I've lost it. All right, now I got the other one on the other end. Now I'm going to attach my leader to this. And I am going to use for my leader 60-pound fluorocarbon, an entire spool, a whole spool. Yes, it's going to be 75 feet long. I actually wish it was a little bit longer, but that long lead, a lot of people are out there using 30-foot leader, 35-foot. They're Googans. Don't do that. You want to use long as possible. George Poveromo will tell you the same. And you basically want to keep it away from this big old hunk of metal. This does not look like any sort of fish. It creates a bunch of disturbance in the water. It looks like crap. Although fishes will still bite it once in a while and lose your entire rig, but you want to keep it away from here. 75 feet, all right? So basically what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to crimp this because I put a big old knot on this. It's just too big. It's going to go through my guides. It's going to hang up. And, you could do like I don't know, you couldn't really do a polymer, right? Because you'd have to go around the whole thing. You could do some uni to unis. You could also put this on with uni to unis, right? But we like to use loops and stuff like that. So anyway, so I got a little tiny crimp. Go through the thing. I'll show you a little thing about crimping now. Just make sure you get the right crimp on there. And then I like to, not essential, but actually you're going to melt the end of the the mono fluoro. This is fluoro, of course. And there's pressure against the lighter. That's going to put like a big tip or big mushroom top on the end of your mono. So the idea is if your crimp is a little screwy, it won't slide through, all right? Especially if you're using the correct size. All right, it's going to be too small for you guys to see, but I'm going to crimp this. Here's the crimpers. They're a little rusty because I've been using them forever, but this is the crimpers you're going to buy. If anyone has any questions about it, crimpers, there's all kinds of crimpers out there for fishing. These are the ones everyone has, all right? If you don't have these ones, you'd have the wrong ones, all right? Now, let me just crimp this. And you're going to go crazy with crimping. It's not that hard. Don't be nervous about it. It's very simple. All right, it doesn't take a lot of pressure to crimp. It's very simple. All right, that's crimped. Now, just real quick with the crimps and how you do it. Again, you can Google this, but basically, I'm going to use a bigger example. Say this is a crimp. These are my pliers. I got it close like this. You're going to put the pliers like in the middle somewhere. Like, see how that is? That's how you crimp. You don't crimp on the end like this. You don't do that because this end will crimp into your line and break it if you do that. You see that? You're going to do it in the middle so these maybe flare up a little bit, the ends, okay? Because you're going to crush this metal. These are going to flare up a little bit in the ends to not bind into your mono, all right? Do it on the end, it binds into the mono, okay? Do it in the middle, it flares up from the mono. Binds, flares, all right? So that's the gist of that. So we got that. Now, when you guys leave, I'm going to roll this whole thing through my tip, okay? And on the other end, I'm going to put my sea witch. Now, I've gone over this before. We'll do it right now, just real quick. The lines, this is a pink sea witch. I only pull a pink sea witch on the planer, catch all the fish. This is my #1 bait on the planer. I never leave home without it. This line, this whole entire rod, planer, everything I'm talking about is only designed to pull this. Nothing else. That's it. It's a staple. All right? You guys can put whatever you want on there. White and blue sea witch, white and blue islander, blue and white islander, whatever. White and blue, blue and white. Anything you want to do, okay? If you're up north, do some green, I don't care. This is what we do and catch a ton of fish. So we're gonna rig this, the line goes through here, right? It comes out. I'm just gonna throw a bead on there. A little bead. And then I just got a double hook rig with a piece of copper on it from my bait strip. And that's it. The whole thing's done, all right? If you have any questions, put them on the Patreon page there or in the comments below or email us and they'll be happy to help. But that is the gist of how you set up your planer rod. So right now, I'm gonna insert a clip after this that's gonna tell you all about how to deploy and take off the planer. We also do the same bridle thing with cigar weights on the other side. So you can do the same thing with a cigar weight, okay? So you can take off the cigar weight, reel to the tip with a wind-on leader situation and control your fish, land your fish, gaff your fish, all very easily. All right, enjoy the clip, and until next time.
Just want to keep it tight at all times. Brian's taking the weight off.
Okay.
All right, it's backed up on the drag a little bit as this fish gets closer to the boat. All right, last few cranks here. No color yet.
Fill up your bonita.
Get him, Brian. Woo! Get him in! Yeah, buddy! Yes! I didn't want to call it. It's a beautiful wahoo! Woo! Yes!
All right, guys, I'm gonna give you a quick tackle time on exactly how I rig these baits and catch these wahoo. So here we go. All right, guys, here's the rig. Double hook rig. I just get these when I have a double hook ballyhoo or a double hook mullet, and I keep these. And this is 60-pound mono right here, 6-pound fluoro. I got a little piece of copper. I'm gonna take these that Darcy already made. Lost my knife. Smith scissors and knives. Let's cut this open and get these vacuum seals. Take it out. There we go. All right, I'm gonna take my Smith's knife and put a little hole here. Boom, that's for my copper to go through. I take this, and I'm not sure how much it matters, but I take my copper and I put it through the non-shiny side. You see that? Boom, boom, boom. Just rest it up against there, and then I pinch right here, and then we wrap. That literally just broke off. So you gotta have some spares. I got a spare right here. It's awful short. Says I need another piece of copper. This thing is terrible.
Okay.
All right, I decided to replace that copper. Darcy got me another piece. I guess now I can show you how I put the copper on. Just wrap it around here. Twist it on. Just below the hook, the eye, you see that? Then I'm gonna bring that through the eye, just so it sticks out like that. Nice and straight. Then now I can take my piece that I just broke off before. Again, stick it through the non-shiny side. Bring it down, you see like that. I pinch here. I wrap. I wrap. I wrap. I wrap. You don't need a ton of wire here. This is a little long. I mean, otherwise just be wrapping and unwrapping too much. I'll cut that off. All right, so now I got these two rig hooks. Boom. I hold here. Measure where it's gonna come through, right about there. Boom. Pull it on. Same thing. Measure right about there. Boom. Push it through. All right, look at that. See? This comes here. Now this is exactly what I caught it on. Oh, we got this little piece on here still. That's gone. But this is exactly what I caught it on, all right? Now I'm gonna show you how to we use the planer. I caught that on the other side, but I'm gonna show you how to use the planer. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Right, I'm gonna go to the north and then turn around.
All right, pull it out a little bit, Sizzle. All right, on this side, I got my pink sea witch. You can see the same exact thing. It just is the sea witch, okay? I got about 100-foot leader. Are you ready to let it out to Sizzle?
Yes.
All right, so I'm letting it out. I'm letting it out here. La da da, it's going out, my 100 feet. Now I got a bridle for my planer. You see it coming through. It's a wind-on bridle. Where's my planer? I always lose the planer. It's right here.
Blends in.
Here's my planer. I got long line clips on each end, okay? This one goes first. These planers work like this if you guys never saw them. When it drags through the water, it goes like this. Then you set it and it goes like this. So it goes down, it's going down. And then when the fish gets it, it goes like this and comes up, all right? So we're gonna put this one first. Go over here. Grab my loop. Boom, it's on. Catches my shirt a lot. Pull this up. On this clip. Boom, it's on. Okay, now it's in. Now I'm gonna let it out some more. I like to keep it at a 45-degree angle. It's gonna creep. It's not, sometimes you can set it just like this. Oh, like today I worked, all right? Usually it doesn't. All right, so there you go. Put the clicker on, set the drag so it's not coming out. If it's creeping, it's catching. So creeping once in a while, especially down sea or whatever, is fine. That's how we catch most of the wahoo.